welcome to another episode of The Soul of the Matter, where we talk about all things concerning the soul. And you remember, the soul consists of our mind, our will, and our emotions. And yes, I know, it's been a long time since we did our last broadcast, but we're back!
Yay.
And I'm back without my co-host, Kim Liggins. She wasn't able to join us today, so I grabbed us another guest co-host,
Hi, everybody.
Charlie Bowens. Charlie, introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Charlie, and I'll be joining my mom today on this Soul of the Matter podcast, and I'm just happy to be here today.
She is happy to be here today, and we are happy to have her with us. And today, our topic is going to be the mindset of a queen. And just so you know, we have this book that called Queenology by R.C. Blakes. And a lot of the teaching that we're going to be talking about today is out of this book. And I also want you young ladies to know that once a month, twice a month, we're doing a mentorship on how to think like a queen, the mindset of a queen. And on that mentorship that I'm doing once a month, we're also using this book. So I just want to get that plug in and let you know where we're getting our information from. Also from the Bible. So again, today we're going to be talking about the mindset of a queen. And I don't know about you, Charlie, but we've been seeing a lot of things where you have queen on shirts and we have queen on mugs, like we have the mug that you're using right now has queen on it. And we're having people calling themselves queen and boss and all of that. But their behavior and the way they carry themselves, the way they talk, isn't that of a queen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking, let me gather these young ladies together so we can discuss and explore the mindset of a true queen.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And so, what would your definition be of a true queen?
A true queen, well, a queen to me in essence is royalty.
Okay.
It's a woman who carries herself like royalty, and that
Okay.
would show in how she treats others and how she treats herself.
Okay.
Her character.
Okay. So queen, to me, I would define a queen as a woman who knows who she is. She knows her worth. She knows her value. She knows her price, and she will not allow anyone else to treat her less than. Right? She demands her price. She's a woman who has integrity. She's confident, and she's authentic. I think being authentic is key. Just be the queen God created you to be. So I think being authentic is key as well. And so then we have like the mindset of a queen. So what does mindset mean to you?
The mindset of a queen is the core of who you are as a woman and how you act as a woman.
Okay.
The core of you. Your self-concept, your identity, how you see yourself.
Okay.
How you see yourself determines if you even look at yourself as a queen, and then how you look at yourself determines how you carry yourself and how you are viewed to others.
So our mindset means a set of beliefs that guides the way we act and we believe, right? So where do we get these mindsets from? I mean, some of us, we're not born queen and we're not automatically a queen. And so how do we get our mindsets that's making us we're not aware, we don't have our queen conscious.
I think we are born queens as women, but through life experiences, our crown falls, and we forget that we're a queen.
I like that. Our crown falls.
Our crown falls, and we forget that we're a queen, or we lose it, or it gets buried under life and struggles and whatever we go through, trials and tribulations. So I think the journey is refining your crown so that you can put it back on your head and be the queen that you already
Awakening to your queen conscious.
Exactly.
And it's because it's got lost along the way. So I was thinking about that as we were preparing, and there's lots of things that can cause us to our crown to fall. And when you say crown fall, it reminds me of those pictures that we see where you see another woman fixing another woman's crown. Like it's up, it's sliding. You better get that ratchetness back together, or you better get those thoughts back together. So it's just like, okay, it's falling. Let's straighten up your crown. But so what? So we were talking about what kind of things makes our crown fall, and even as little children, sometimes when we don't really even know who we are, things that have been implanted in us can cause us to think our mindsets to be a certain way. And so let's explore some of those situations.
Okay.
For example, trauma can cause your crown to fall, or you not to come into the realization of who you are. Parents, we were talking about that last night, how sometimes if your parent is toxic, if your mom is not aware of the queen that's inside of her, she's going to be instilling some things in you that's not quite right.
Yeah.
So then that mindset, you grow up with that same mindset as your mother, your dad.
Yeah.
Some people have father wounds, because I say that because fathers speak into their daughters and how help them to be secure in who they are, and love who they are no matter what. He's the first example of how a man woman relationship, and how a woman is to be treated by a man.
Yeah.
And so if you grew up without that, then you are going to have some mindsets that are not quite right. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I do agree with that. I agree with everything that you just said as far as parents, situations, your own self-esteem, your own view of your own self. Sometimes it can be others, but sometimes others can build you up, but you have to believe that you are enough.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe that, then you won't act accordingly as well.
I was just thinking, and I've shared this example before of as far as you not you having your father in your life growing up, and I didn't grow up with my father in my life. I had my father, and I developed a relationship as I became an adult, but I didn't realize how my mindset towards men was so off until I was watching TV one day and I saw this mother, and not it just seems I was seeing this man walk his daughter down the aisle, and it just did something to me, and I just started crying. And then a few months ago, I realized that a little bit of that is still lingering, because I was watching HGTV, and this girl was going to buy her first house with her dad, and they were hand in hand like this, and I was just looking at that like that was just so foreign to me. And so, but as far as the mindset is concerned, I remember thinking, and not only the relationship with my dad, but it was compounded with the relationship I had with a relationship that I was in, where I was with someone which it wasn't the best relationship, but that relationship left me feeling down and less than, and you know how you're sitting and you're feeling low, but something within you is like, Charlotte, you're better than this. There's more to your life than this. But at that moment, I left that relationship feeling really low.
Yeah.
And so those are some things that can happen that can cause your mindset to be different. I remember thinking after, with my dad and the relationship with this guy, I was like, I don't want a man. I do not want a man in my life. I'm good to go the rest of my life without a man. I had the wrong mindset. I wasn't saved at this time either. So I said stuff like, a man can't do nothing for me but one thing. Other than that, I don't need a man. I got this all by myself. But then after I gave my life over to the Lord and I started my journey, and God put me on a path of rediscovering who I am as a woman, who He is, who I belong to. And after I got that solidified, then He started bringing the queenness out of me and changing my mindset and changing the way I thought about men, and that I did need them. And if we don't get our mindset together, it can sabotage our destiny.
I agree with a lot of that. As far as if we're just speaking of our fathers, being there, because a queen needs a king, or will conjoin with the king. So that's number one. And so you have to learn how to be a queen to a king. And a lot of us women didn't have a father to show us that. And so we're raised with our mothers to be the king and to show us that dominance. And so sometimes as women, when it comes to men, we don't know how to relinquish that power because we've been raised with women. So that was my experience. And my experience is kind of the opposite. I always knew I wanted to be with someone, but I wanted it to be right. And I wasn't finding the right person. And I felt like because I wasn't with the right person, I couldn't give my all. I didn't want to give my all to someone who wasn't worth it. And so you have to dumb yourself down, or there's qualities about you that you can't really nourish and grow because you're out. You're not with a king. You're not with the right person.
Mm-hmm.
So I always knew I wanted to be with the right person, and I wasn't finding the right quality of man.
Okay.
And so that was my experience with that. But
Okay.
so yeah, I do feel like when your father is not around, it does kind of have you out of order as a woman.
It does.
For sure.
It does. And so, and once you find out who you are as a queen, your standards become higher.
Right.
And just like you were saying, once you come into, you know what, I'm a queen.
Mm-hmm.
I got my crown on. I am all that. My thoughts are right. And you will not even settle for anything less than. You will not settle for, as R.C. Blakes call it, a clown with a crown. You won't even settle for a clown with a crown, which means he's not quite a king yet. He's still a clown. You know, he ain't got his own life together. And so you won't settle for that. There's a lot of, you won't settle for no one treating you less than your value.
No.
Once you discover who you are as a queen. So that's why I always love the phrase, change your thoughts, your mindset, you will change your life. You will
Yes.
change the quality of your life.
It all starts in the mind.
Mm-hmm. And I want to reiterate something that says, you know, if we don't come into who we are as women, as queens, it will sabotage your destiny. If I continued on my journey with that mindset of I don't need a man, it would have sabotaged the destiny God had over my life.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have met my husband, who is a pastor, which would have set me on the path to where I am now, as far as I'm sure I would have been able to, you know, talk and do other things, but as a first lady of a church, it opened up the door for me to speak more. It opened up the door for me to pour into women more and to discover who God really created me to be. So we have to get our mindset together, otherwise it will sabotage our destiny.
For sure. Yeah.
And so you said, watch your thoughts. There's a scripture in the Bible, Proverbs 23:7. It says, which is about watch your thoughts, right? So it's really important that we monitor our thoughts, and because as the Bible says, Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So as a woman thinketh, so is she. So it's important for us to always capture negative thinking about ourselves. So I know when I was in my low place, you know, with thoughts of, you know, after I got out of a bad relationship, and my thoughts about myself wasn't good. They were very negative. And so if we stay on that journey, we have to, you're gonna be a negative person. Have you ever been around somebody that everything come out of their mouth is just negative? Negative about you, negative about me, negative about situations. I mean, how fun is that to be around?
It's very draining. And I think that we have to understand too, as women, you do not have to be perfect to be a queen. It is okay to go through trials and tribulations. It's okay to go through things, and you can still be centered as a person. And you can still think highly of yourself and know that you have value as a woman. So even in the mind, to me, is accountability. If you're struggling with something, admit it and own it. Don't let it overtake you. Like you said, that can get into your mind to where you're negative, to where you view yourself negative, and you're the negative person that's around everybody. So I feel like whatever's going on in your mind, own it, deal with it, figure out what you need to do so that you can grow and move forward and overcome whatever it is in your mind that is negative.
So I would challenge you, queens, in the making out there, envision yourself. How do you envision yourself? When you close your eyes, what do you want to be? Do you want to be that boss lady at a job running a company? Do you want to just be the boss of whatever area of your life that you're in, dominating in art and entertainment, Christendom? You know, all those types of things. Envision that, right? And then realize that your negative thinking is not going to get you there. Envision where you want to be and start working on that. We have to capture our thoughts. Oh, I ain't gonna never be that. I can't ever be that. I ain't gonna never get to where, you know, you have to just cast those thoughts down.
For sure.
And replace them with, you know what? I am all that in a bag of chips. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You know what? I got this. You tell yourself that every single day. Every time those negative thoughts come into your mind, you exchange them with those positive things, and then you will slowly crawl yourself out of that negative thinking.
Yeah, so as a man thinks, so is he. So when you start to change your mindset, you feel better about yourself, you believe in yourself, and then your feet will start to move and align with your thoughts, and you will see yourself being that boss lady, graduating, getting a degree, starting a business. Whatever it is that you want to do, it starts in the mind, but then it has to go down to the feet so that you can walk walk out what you envision for yourself.
Well, we as a licensed therapist, we have this thing called cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's basically is saying, whatever I think affects how I feel,
Yes.
and how I feel affects how I behave, or my feet walking it out.
Yes.
So if I'm constantly thinking negative, I'm going to be feeling less than, and then I'm going to behave that way.
Exactly.
So it goes from your thought to your heart to acting it out.
Correct.
Right, so that's why you say it has to go down to your feet.
Correct.
And another thing that I want to point out is, we have, as a queen isn't validated by outside things.
No.
It's from within. And the scripture that I love to use is, in him do I move, do I live, and have my being. I am who I am because of God and because of what is within me. And I say that, and that's a very important point to make, is because a lot of people think I'm a boss because I drive a BMW. I'm a boss because I have a 6-figure income. I'm a boss because I got on my Gucci, girl. I'm a boss because I got on my red bottoms, hey. But that is not what makes a queen.
No.
A queen is from within, and from within is your thoughts. And so that's why it's important to capture those negative thoughts, because those are the things that really, truly validate you as a queen.
Right. And like you said, it's not the material. Those are the things that come with people who grind and you hustle. Those things are just an add-on. But the true nature of a queen is your self-concept. It's what you truly believe about yourself. It's the values that you stand on. And that's what I'm talking about in my communications class. It's just your self-concept, who you view yourself and believe yourself to be. And I feel like that's the true nature of a queen, not the materialistic things that.
So when you look in the mirror, who do you see? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, what are your
mindset toward yourself?
Exactly.
And if it's not good, that's when you need to do a deep dive and start doing some soul work.
For sure.
And start working on your soul, your mind, your will, and your emotions, so that you can be to blossom into that queen.
And determine what type of queen. There's mean queens.
Is it?
There's some mean queens. There's.
Are they a true queen if they're mean though?
Right. That's what I'm saying. You have to determine. What type of crown do you want to wear? Do you want to wear one of righteousness and honor and kindness and dignity and patience? To me, those are attributes of a true. If we're talking about a true queen,
I'm talking about a true queen, because I would
we
say
have to know the difference.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because to me, a true queen is not those things. They're patient. They're not mean.
Yeah.
They are. What other attributes?
Kind. They're loving. They're giving. Because, like you said, there are women who are successful. They do. They drive a Mercedes and they have all this money, and to them, they feel like a queen.
But that's what I was saying. That doesn't validate you as a queen.
So we have to define the true queen.
It's from within.
It's from within.
And if they haven't done their soul work and gotten that anger out of them, like did some soul work to go, why am I so angry and mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. I don't care. You have to do your soul work.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
To be the true queen.
To be the true queen. To be the queen that aligns with what God sees favorable.
Yes. Yes. And there's one more point I want to make, and that is found in Romans 12:2, where it says, don't be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. We cannot be conformed to this world and to the standards that this world set for women.
Yes.
This world says a woman is fine if she's a size 2. Well, it may not be a size 2 anymore. It might be a little bigger. Oh, no. But we can't be conformed. We can't be conformed to the standards of this world, right? But we have to be conformed
by the renewing of our mind. Yes. And I think the world for women, well, a lot of women, like I said earlier, we are raised with our mothers. So we're around strong women, and we in turn embody that strongness, which is not a bad thing, to have as a character trait. But we don't want to get caught up in what the world says a woman is. That we are mean, that we have to be controlling, that we have to look down on other women. And even men. Sometimes we do that too. So we have to first, to me, as a queen, if you want to be a true queen, you have to read Proverbs 31. You have to read the word and see what God views a woman to be, and follow those attributes that's how you start the process to be a true queen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you understand what his view is of you, you can start to apply those attributes to your own life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you will be that caring, that loving, that kind woman.
Mm-hmm.
Then you will be able to put this crown on once
Yes.
you start to work those character traits in your heart.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you mentioned the Proverbs 31 woman because, the Proverbs 31 woman was married to a man that had a lot of respect in the community.
Mm-hmm.
She had children. Her children, her family rose up and called her blessed,
Mm-hmm.
which means she was doing her thing as a wife and mother because they rose up every morning like, we bless you, mama.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a businesswoman. Her
Mm-hmm.
husband was out doing the thing, but she didn't just leave it out to her husband. She went out there and did her own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying being a stay-home mom is bad, but I'm just saying she went out there and she got her own coins, okay? She was getting her own, what y'all call it? She was getting her own bag. So she was helping her household. She rose up early and prepared for her household. She got up early and prayed over her family. She got up early and made sure things was cooked. Yeah. And then she also was a businesswoman. She owned her own business. Yeah. So she was a boss woman queen. And that is how we want to be. But not only that, the community respected her. So, she was kind. She was nice.
Selfless.
And all of that, yeah.
Yeah, to me, a queen is selfless. Like you said, even though she had all these things going, people around her still called her blessed and seen her because the kindness shows, the grace shows. You want to be graceful as a queen.
Yeah. So again, we don't want to be conformed to the standards of this world, but we want to be transformed in our mind, in our mindset, so that we can think like a queen. And when you think like a queen, you're going to behave like a queen. And so that's what I have for you guys today. Do you have anything else to add, Miss Charlie?
I just want to say for all the women out there who are struggling and they have insecurities and they don't really know who they are, get in your word for number one. Number two, know that your past experiences doesn't have to stop your journey on becoming the woman you truly want to be. So I would just give advice to keep working on you. Find some quiet time. Be accountable. Be real. Realize where you really are and figure out what you can do to change your mind so that it can get to the heart, so that you can actually walk out what you truly see for yourself. That would be my advice.
And my advice would be, don't be scared to do the soul work. It takes a courageous person to look themselves in the mirror and say, you know what, I don't like what I see. Correct. I don't like how my mindset. I don't like how I'm behaving. And I know my behaviors are due to the way that I'm thinking. And I don't like who I see. I don't like who I am becoming. And do a deep dive and do some soul work. That looks different for each person. You'll have to get into that Bible and renew your mind on how you think about certain situations. Yeah. And get into some books like this, Queenology by R.C. Blakes, and renew your mind in the Word and self-help books like this so that you can be who God has called you to be. And feel free to like and subscribe and share this and reach out to me if you want to be a part of the mentorship that I do once a month. We already had our first little introductory meeting, and we're going to have our next one on January 29th. So feel free to come out so we can explore this book and so that we can all blossom in the queens that God is calling us to be. And until next time, bye.
Bye.